I feel like there's a really obvious point for me to start talking at the end of that break, and I always purposefully miss it. Hello, and welcome to the Vergecast, the flagship podcast of theverge.com, which now is indeed a fleet of podcasts. We have so many of them, it's getting like honestly out of hand. But this is the Vergecast, the oldest, the finest. What? It's just this one. I know what I'm doing with my hands. I'm making the
oldest, the finest.
Yeah, the oldest, the finest, the most
better
aged.
with age.
Yeah, exactly. The most vintage of our shows. In case you're wondering, I'm Nilay Patel. I'm the editor-in-chief of The Verge. To my right is sadly not Dieter Bohn, who remains on his honeymoon. When he comes back, we will talk all about the drone, because it was a whole thing. But to my right is Russell Brandom, ace security reporter.
Hi.
To my left, Ben Popper, ace. Well, today you're like an ace Chromebook reporter, but ace business reporter.
I know a lot about drones. We could definitely talk.
Oh, we should get into some drones. Yeah. Oh yeah, Ben's also a drone. Yeah. Oh my God, the range of experience surrounding me is incredible. And then over there, in a new desk today for some reason, our girl Fumo.
Hello, it's me, Nicola.
How's it going?
It's going all right.
You're wearing. Everyone has commented on this like. I think you look like a 1940s aviator. Like you're about
Aviatrix.
You're about to aviate.
Oh, okay, I see that. For those in the car.
Yeah. The most important people, Nicola.
Yes, as it's been drilled in my head. It's a long sleeve white blouse with a turtleneck, but also a V cutout.
Yeah.
And everyone keeps saying it's Kardashian-esque. And I'm not mad at it, to be honest.
No, I think it's great. I just think
it was Fashion Week, and I spent a lot of time in the same room as various Kardashians this week.
Yeah. How was it? Tell me what that's like.
I mean, it's funny because I keep telling people it's like drugs, where it's like really exciting the first time it's a high, and then the more times it's just like, I don't know, there they are, here I am. I don't really want to reach for the photo. I don't care.
You need more Kardashians in the room every time to get that.
What's that?
Vibe.
Yeah, to get back to the same place.
What's that? Yeah, exactly. You need the whole fam. What's that first high like though? Really?
I'm trying to think the first time
when the needle hits your veins.
The first time I was in the room. It might have been at Yeezy Season 1, Kanye's first fashion show a year ago. And that was pretty exciting because I was like 3 rows away from them. And I was like, oh, my God, they're all right there. Like, North is there, Chloe, Kim.
Yeah, the whole situation.
The whole situation. And now it's just like, I don't know.
There they are again.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
They see it's sad. Like, they got the bodyguards and they don't have any freedom. And I don't know.
They don't have any freedom.
They're literally like caged animals.
Yeah.
I want to quickly just ask, do you think that Kanye West is $50 million in debt? And why is he specifically $53 million in debt? Why is he asking tech billionaires for the money?
Not for the first time. He did Schmidt ages ago. He was like, Eric Schmidt
should have
give
paid
to
him.
Donda.
Eric Schmidt should have invested in Donda.
Zuck should pay him. Like, we should all donate to Kanye.
No, like here's the thing. Here's my theory. Zuckerberg should not do it because he's busy. Right? Like Zuckerberg has things to do. He's got a country to run. He's got an India to colonize. Like, he's got like I've got a wife to murder. It's like the whole thing. I've got Gilbert to frame for it. It's a Princess Bride reference.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like busy, right?
Yeah.
And it was like Larry Page was the other one.
Yeah, more Google X.
No, Schmidt.
Project,
Yeah, Schmidt.
right?
No, but Schmidt was like way before.
Oh, yeah. Larry Page was like the other. Yeah,
it was like this time it was like Zuckerberg
I think Schmidt's
and Page.
dropped off his radar. He's like not sure Schmidt has enough to give him.
All to do. Right? Like Eric Schmidt's job was like, well, I've got these crazy kids who are going to make me rich. I better just keep them in line and follow models on Instagram.
And the Donda org chart includes a lot of X things, like hovercraft, stuff like that. Things like
Eric Schmidt should be like, you know what? You're my next Larry Page. I will be Kanye West adult supervision.
Yeah.
That'd be great, actually, if after Facebook and Google, Eric Schmidt and Sheryl Sandberg started adult supervision for various rock stars.
Oh, man. CEO and COO of Donda.
Did we publish the Donda org chart? Did you see the Donda org chart?
Oh, my God, yes.
The Donda org chart. So if you haven't seen it, if you're listening, Kanye West made like, I don't know if you can't call it or it's like a list of boxes with like insane
like
things in them.
It's like any industry. It's like healthcare, like technology, fashion, and then inside of it he has different like job titles, and it's little black boxes with white text, and they're all just like sitting next to each other. And he says he made it 4 years ago, and he was like, "You all laughed at me then," and he like tweeted it.
So one of the I'm just going to start reading at random from the Donda.org chart, which, by the way, is spelled communications company at the top.
Oh, he said the typos is how you know it's me.
Yeah. Categories of influence organizational chart. I'm just going to read. There's so many boxes here. There's just one labeled internet. And here are the things under the internet box. One-page destination, social media, e-commerce, web music store, web books, and then my favorite, luxury cloud service, which to me makes no sense. And then just under
no, like this is we're gonna lose Micah because he's gonna be the luxury cloud service, the head of luxury cloud service at Donda.
Yeah, and then right below that it says mobile phones, and then right next to mobile phones in slightly smaller type it just says Microsoft. It's just so confusing.
So good.
Yeah. Oh, there's also a luxury search engine, which obviously
it is true. Sometimes Google feels a little bit just for the plebes.
This is your moment.
You
okay.
know?
So Nicola
Yes.
pitched me. She's like, we got to take the hype check to the next level.
No. Let me explain.
Oh, well, I'm trying to get you out.
Okay.
Whatever. Fine. Do your
fine.
thing.
Okay.
I don't like you anymore.
That's untrue.
He was trying to set you up. He was trying to
I was
set you up.
Okay.
setting you up on a high.
So I inherited this hype desk and also a thing called Hype Check from Sam Sheffer, who owns the phrase, I think, and it never really felt like me. So in my week off, I decided to come up with a thing that felt more like me that I could comment on. So I have this chart that I made. If you're in the car,
Yep.
on the x-axis, on the left is drab and on the right is elegant. And on the y-axis, at the top is ostentatious, and at the bottom is practical.
So it's a matrix.
It's a matrix.
It's a matrix.
It's a hype matrix.
Yes, it's Nicola Fumo's hype matrix.
Yeah.
If you guys want
We're
to
really
latch onto
ratcheting
that.
it up.
The original hype check wasn't even a single dimension. It was like either on or off.
Yeah, it never really worked. It
was
just
always a
wasn't me.
free form.
So-
But now we've got some rigor. We have a rubric.
So if you were designing a luxury search engine,
Wait,
A luxury search engine is-
Stop. Tell me where's Google on the hype matrix.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Practical, little drab.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Highly practical, a little drab.
Although like the other alphabet stuff, it gets kind of ostentatious when they're
Yeah.
like
When there's like swooping.
and they're like building a pill that keeps you from dying.
That's true.
It gets a little
Where's
That's-
a pill that keeps you from dying. Where does that
That's
come on?
ostentatious drab. Like, not dying isn't...
I mean, it would be
elegant.
practical if it worked and we just all took these pills.
Yeah.
But for a while, it's
So,
going to be maybe.
Just like if anyone's confused, I have a couple plot points for people to kind of like get familiar. Like an iPhone is practical, elegant. Almost every computer mouse is drab, practical.
Yeah. Oh, wait, we got to show you some. We can.
Okay, there are some.
Can everyone send Nicola
Almost
Nicola
every-
_ Fumo on Twitter? Send her a picture of your favorite gaming mouse.
I don't even know what a gaming mouse is. I don't really
You're gonna
want to
find
know.
out.
I don't really want to know. But the thing that I can't solve is what technology item or service is ostentatious and also elegant. Because what I have plotted right there is the Magnum of Moet on my desk. That's ostentatious and also elegant.
Isn't it like the how expensive is the most expensive Apple Watch? Like
Yeah,
the,
like
the
the
gold,
gold
Apple
Apple
Watch. Is that not elegant?
Oh, I guess that's ostentatious, elegant. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Julia, our Rex features editor, suggested self-driving cars might be ostentatious and elegant, but I don't really know what they look like.
I think
like
like what's
Tesla,
the
really
yeah
high-end
like the
Tesla.
really the big Teslas. I'm trying. to
Or
think
she
of-
said anything to do with fancy space,
Fancy space.
Yes.
like Virgin Space,
We're not-
Virgin Galactic.
Yeah.
Space.
That shit's still like okay. Here's the thing about Virgin Galactic. I'm just gonna put this out there. Richard Branson, personal hero of mine. I would one day like to grow up to be a legendary silver fox. Just a fact of my life. Virgin Galactic is such a fucking lie. Like it's like old Russian engines bought
It's the
on the
most
gray
flex
market.
ever. It's the most
Yeah.
flex ever.
He's like, what if we just, I don't, is it like a boat in space? Just buy the Russian shit. And like the things crash, right? Didn't one crash? It's like
yeah.
a whole.
No, they've had explosions on the like launch pads.
And by the way, I'm throwing down like, I would say 15% of the shade that like Lauren Grush and Sean O'Kane throw at Virgin Galactic.
yeah. Well, also I think for a while it was like the only thing. Like
Yeah.
it was the only rich guy who's going to send you to Mars.
Right.
Yeah.
And now there's
Now
Musk
there's two
and
others.
even
Bezos takes
and
it pretty seriously.
Bezos and like the weird reality show one.
Right.
That like people are suspicious about, but even that seems maybe
but-
more plausible than
No, Virgin Galactic, I would say in the ranking,
Yeah.
like the bottom of the barrel is the reality show that wants you to die in Mars. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
The one-way trip to Mars.
yeah, that.
Well,
Mars,
they're all sort of
Mars,
one way.
Is that Mars 1?
Musk isn't necessarily going to bring you back.
No, but I would say like, and then right above that, you have the guy who got rich running a record store. Right? And then somewhere way at the top, it's like two of the most successful tech entrepreneurs in the world. But like record store guy, yeah, he's the one buying like the used Russian engines and being like, this is safe.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we should talk about news. Can we talk about news?
There's so much
I
news
mean, I
this
could just
week.
keep reading the Don.org chart at you. Like it's,
My ideal Vergecast, but
it's pretty
one asked.
good. Under lifestyle, the words container company. It's just those are just there.
Did you guys see the Colbert thing? He read the Don.org chart, and then also importantly, Kanye added on Twitter, he's also going to fix wolves. That's one of the things that he's going to improve on, along with
He
everything
really
else
has
on
a
there.
song about how much he doesn't like wolves.
If I were to tell you that the word hovercrafts was listed on this chart twice, what two categories do you think hovercraft would be listed? Double listed.
transportation.
Nope, wrong. Already
and-
wrong.
Apparel.
Nope, already wrong.
Lifestyle.
Nope.
I don't know what the categories are. So.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I will tell you that in one of the categories, hovercrafts is listed just above the word 7-screen movie experience.
That's
Love
something
it.
that he's already built. That's happened out in the
So
desert.
hovercrafts, by the way, listed in the category of home and also the category of trademarks and patents. Very,
Get him. Gotta
Yeah.
get him.
very confusing. All right, we should. Here's what I like to do in the show right now. I'd like to go from this lighthearted romp to the Don.org
All
chart,
the way down.
all the way down. Bring it down. If you're in your car right now, roll up your windows. Wait, that doesn't make it darker in a car. If you're in a car right now, just
Tint
get
your
ready.
windows.
Just Did you say pinch your nose?
Tint your windows.
Tint your windows.
Tint your windows.
Buckle your
Yeah,
seatbelts.
certainly.
Buckle your seatbelts. Slow down. Get in the right lane, because we're going to talk about iPhone encryption,
Yeah.
which is why Russell is.
And how America is a fascist state.
Is it?
I mean, I go back.
So here's what
Yeah.
I'm going to do
Yeah, totally.
on this show. I'm going to play the hater, because
Okay.
I believe deep in my heart that Apple should not break this phone.
Yeah.
That's my
You
firm
say it
belief.
up front, but
I do not believe Apple should break this phone.
yeah.
I, however, am very aware of all of the arguments. I was on like CNBC yesterday, and like every person on the
man, yeah,
CNBC
that's
panel was
bleak.
like, "It's a matter of life and death," and I was like,
Even though, like, literally the dude's
"Dead," and like
It's
it's like sad. It's like already okay. But I'm just saying, for the purpose of this conversation,
yeah.
I'm gonna play the hater.
Yeah, totally.
So why shouldn't Apple break this phone open? Because it seems to me
Yeah.
like it's fairly reasonable to say they should break this. So do you actually do the quick overview of
the
story.
thing that happened.
Do
okay.
the 10
so
second
for a
version.
long time, okay, so basically it starts with iOS 8, at which point Apple says we can't serve requests for unlocking phones anymore because now all of the phone is going to be encrypted to your passcode, and so there's no data that we can pull off, and so don't bother serving us with warrants anymore because we can't fill them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is in their law enforcement guidelines, which I've been reading very closely this past
Yeah.
week. And so the FBI wasn't thrilled about this. I think most of large portions of the government kind of weren't thrilled about it, and they kept getting angrier and angrier. And it was clear they sort of were looking for a place to kind of make their stand. And now, it was Tuesday night that
Like late breaking.
yeah, it was in the evening, I think 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Eastern time. The court order came down from the Central District of California saying the phone of Syed Farouk, one of the alleged attackers, I suppose he hasn't been convicted yet, in the San Bernardino attack, they have been looking to get into his phone, and it's one of those phones that Apple can't decrypt. And so they said, they gave very specific instructions, because for a while the line was Apple was saying, listen, we can't do it. And they said, okay, do exactly these things. We want a disk image that's stored in RAM and rewrites the firmware so that there isn't this delay and there isn't disk erasure function if you guess too many times.
Because it's his work
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah, yeah.
So and it's provision. He worked for the government. So the government, like the state of California, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
government provisioned him this phone. And if they
Yeah.
are, I think I saw Tom Warren tweeting about this morning.
Yeah.
But if they're even a remotely good IT shop, they provision the phone. So if you enter the passcode wrong too many times,
Well, no,
erase
I
the
mean,
whole
but
phone.
this is also
It's built in,
yeah.
but the chances
Some people
of that
don't. Yeah, totally.
because it's a little bit buried. Like the
Yeah, you
regular
gotta go in
consumer
settings,
doesn't
yeah.
have that, right? It's not like one of those default when you set up an iPhone.
Yeah, totally.
But
Because also for most people, like, if I'm setting up my dad's iPhone, I wouldn't tell him to turn that on.
Yeah.
Because, like, you'll just forget your passcode and accidentally erase your phone. Like, that's a real threat. Like,
yeah. Anyway, so it's, you got to put it into 5C.
Yeah.
And you can put the 5C in the firmware upgrade mode, the DFU mode.
Yeah, yeah.
And what the court is saying, Apple, put it in this firmware update mode, and you can load a custom firmware onto the phone that doesn't affect the data, that will cancel out the time delay on passcode entry and will prevent it from erasing the phone.
Yeah,
after
and all of this is built into iOS, like all of these protections. So basically what they're doing is writing a new version of iOS and then sort of, signing it so that the phone will accept it as Apple, which is going to be legally interesting. And then, forcing it onto the phone. The phone is suddenly running. People call it FBIOS.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
It's pretty good, yeah. And so now it's running FBIOS, and it still works like a phone, except you can sort of tap out as many different passcode combinations as you want. And they said, just give the phone back to us like that, and then we'll do whatever we're going to do. Don't worry about it.
So if you can flash it with this new image, and that would let you put a new operating system on, and then you could make the change to the backdoor and brute force it, right?
Yeah.
Put in the passcode as many times as possible. Why is it only Apple capable of doing that? Like, if I got my hands on your phone and I was a technical genius, could I flash it?
Here are these two things. Okay, so one is it won't accept the Okay, so if you're normally getting an iOS update on your phone, you have to accept it, which includes the passcode. You can put it in through this DFU mode, but it will only accept it if it's signed by Apple's key. Right. So that's really the central thing. And the other protection that exists that I think strengthens Nilay's sort of case that they should do this is they said, okay, before you sign it, make it so that it only works on this one phone. So it's going to go in, it's going to check that it has the ID number that they know this guy's phone has. And if it does, then it'll do all the stuff. So here's the thing. They can't. If I then get this and I want to use this to unlock Nilay's phone, I could try to reverse engineer it so that suddenly, I just delete the line where it says check this thing, but then when I want to compile it again, I have to sign it with Apple's key, which I don't have.
So just to back up, because I haven't been following this as closely as you guys have. Right. So this situation already exists where they're saying we can't do it, but they do have a special Apple key that would allow them to do it if they so decided to go down that road.
Well, no, so they have to build all this. They have to build the FBI iOS, and it's going to be tricky. And also, like, as anyone who's tried to jailbreak a phone knows, when you try rewriting these things, a lot of the time you just break your phone. And so I think the question of doing something like this that doesn't break the phone and doesn't accidentally erase it and doesn't sort of do all those things is going to be a significant technological challenge. But, I mean, they're the second largest technology company in the world. So
they're the largest again.
Most valuable
they are.
back and forth.
Oh, okay.
They trade that
I think they're back and forth.
Was it this that put them over
Nilay,
the top? They're back into-
do you think that they should do it because, like, if the court had said no, then obviously, like, if it was just the FBI and not the court, would you still say Apple should do it? Or are you saying yes because the court said it, and in the case where the court makes that decision, then Apple should go ahead and take the step of,
So once again, I'd like to reiterate that I personally, in my heart, do not believe
this
that
somewhat
Apple should break
weakens
this
your
phone.
case that you have to constantly disclaim it.
because I know someone's gonna like tune in.
Yeah,
halfway
no,
through
totally.
And they're gonna like I see it coming, but I think my case for why they should do it is one, they have absolutely bad facts in their favor, right? Like it's a terrorist, like on top of it, like an ISIS terrorist. They can do it.
ISIS affiliate.
I don't care.
ISIS
Whatever.
inspired.
The facts are bad. Like it just doesn't matter. Like the headlines are bad for them. They can do it on this particular model of phone, and they probably can't do it on any newer model of phone. And if they're smart, the iPhone 7 and the 7S and the 8 will be even harder than the 5S, right? So it's like, yeah, you know what? You should break the 5C. Like give them the 5C and then be like, you know what? we basically rope-a-doped you, and we broke this one crap phone.
Yeah.
But we can't break the 5S because it has Touch ID and the secure enclave. We can't break the 6 or the 6S. And the 7 is even more secure. And the 8 actually doesn't even have a screen and contains no data. Like basically, like they're in a position where they can give up this one.
Give up the dead terrorist.
Give up this one dead terrorist and say, our future products are already currently engineered such that we can't do this. And you should explain the secure.
Well, yeah. So the
piece.
secure. Okay. So we're gonna follow vegetables with more vegetables, but
then we will eat cake.
So once they put in the fingerprint reader, they put in a chip, the A7 chip, which is when it came out, people were excited because it made things faster and better. It's a better chip, but it also has this secure enclave.
Which is basically another computer, as far as I understand.
I mean, kind of. The funny thing is, this was already, like, this is generically known in security as the secure element. And it's just like, things have secure elements. And, but of course, when Apple does it, they put a proper name, and they're like, it's the secure enclave.
That's more ostentatious.
And it's like a French root.
Yeah,
It's like,
where does secure enclave,
yeah.
where does that go on the hype matrix? Your phone has a separate secure computer inside of it.
Sounds practical, elegant.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Listen, we all like to go to our own secure enclave when things are feeling rough.
That's what I call a bathroom.
But so,
Wow.
and here's where it gets interesting for like the Apple people is the 5C. Okay, the reason. Okay, so for instance, secure elements generally, like Samsung phones, have a secure element.
Yeah.
It's not a secure enclave, but it's basically the same thing. And this is why, like, there's actually the fingerprint reader is pretty hard to hack, right? And so the point of this is to make a very strong bond between the fingerprint reader and it's sort of a hardware root of the entire security system.
Right.
So they're constantly checking the secure element, and this is where the passcode goes, and then it's mixed up with a bunch of other things. And then when it comes out, it's much, much stronger and really hard to crack. So this is why generally if you're trying to run a program that does this, it has to use the processing of the secure element. And there are all these, it gets really complicated, but it's hard.
Yeah.
And what the FBI is proposing for the 5C, again, because they're so specific about it, they're like, it exists in RAM, and then it's going to rewrite software, which will then, the software of iOS, which we think of as the firmware of the phone. It's sort of a little bit, anyway, it gets squishy. But the point is, you can't do that same thing on an iPhone 5S.
Yeah.
Because it has the fingerprint reader, it has a secure element.
So why not break this one phone?
Well, here's the thing. So
if you can't do it,
well,
if you can't do it with the newer phones, why not break the phone that you can't?
So here's the tricky thing. So it's clearly harder if the phone has the secure element, because what you have to do is, you're rewriting the firmware on the phone. You have to rewrite the firmware on the chip, which it's designed to make it so that you can't do that. That is a fact about the chip. But there's always some way. Like in security, you never say anything's impossible. And they're the FBI. They've probably thought about this. I mean, I don't think we fundamentally just don't know if it can be done. But that's not to say it can't be done. And then pretty soon they're over at Apple saying, listen, you guys dragged your heels on this other thing and it turned out you could do it. And now, hey, we've got another dead terrorist, another phone, and it's a slightly more expensive phone. And I don't know, make it work, or we're going to put some weird export regulations on you and you won't be able to sell phones in China anymore, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I think that's the thing. So this is, I made no headway on CNBC. I was like, Apple has 1 billion customers. They have 1 billion active devices. iMessage sends 200. Like, this is a disaster if they weaken their software and then it cracks and then everybody can do this.
So here's the other weird thing, right?
Yeah.
So everyone's sort of worried about the precedent and like what comes next. And so one of the next orders could be like, okay, break the secure enclave phone, right? Because it doesn't seem really, you wouldn't feel that safe if you were Tim Cook and be like, okay, but like just this one. But then the other thing that could happen is they say, listen, we keep coming back to you every week to like crack someone's phone. We've got a lot of these DEAs arresting all these people. Like we've got a whole government that's arresting people and trying to look in their phones. And clearly we have the right to do this. So maybe just make one without the specific phone tag and we can just apply it ourselves and we won't have to keep coming back to you. At which point that piece of software becomes incredibly dangerous. Like if it ever got out, because there are also there's a huge world full of like people who steal iPhones, and they're really interested in ways to unlock phones. And so if something like this that had a little bit less of a protection ever got out, that would be really bad. And maybe the protections stay in place, but someone finds a 0-day, or someone finds like some clever hack that wouldn't otherwise have been a big deal, but then you already have this, and then pretty soon, you're buying like locked phones for $50 and unlocking them in like a warehouse in Bushwick somewhere and selling them for $500.
What if like you made
the
it so
track
that
phone story?
Yeah, exactly.
once you say, okay, here's the back door, whatever it is, or here's the exception to the rule, whatever it is, there's a slippery slope. It might get out, or somebody might figure out a better method. But I mean, could you say like, here's the way it could be done, but it requires an enormous investment of time or money or computation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the FBI is willing to pay them. They're going to pay
only
for
the
this.
FBI or somebody else would find it worthwhile, right? It like wouldn't be worthwhile if you're just stealing iPhones, because it requires.
Well, yeah,
4
you wouldn't be
days
able to like you'd have to hire someone really good who would want to do something legal.
Right.
I mean, one assumes. Who knows? Maybe it's already out there, but yeah. So once it's built, then it's just kind of this gun on the table, right? Like it's just like the Watchmen. I don't know if once you build the nuke, then people have nukes.
Yeah. I mean, I just think they should break the phone. Wait, no,
Except
I don't.
you don't
No, I
think
don't.
that.
I don't. I mean, like, I think the encryption debate, and you've been covering it. It's like back. It's back in this weird way, where it was like around in the '90s and it was around in the early 2000s, and the tech geeks have always won. I mean, they basically always won.
Here's the other weird thing: is right now all of the pressure in this has basically come from the FBI, DAs, and like some judges, right? The judge who signed the order incidentally used to be a DA.
There you go.
I mean, not that that's a scandal in any way, but it's like, yeah, like, and we saw like some weird bills in the New York and California legislature that were like explicitly lobbied for by DAs, and like the desire for something like this within law enforcement is very, very strong. But once you get outside of law enforcement, and this is also like as this case moves to appeals and maybe gets appealed all the way to the Supreme Court, and we get kind of further from the grunt level, like I am putting people in handcuffs every day and need to like make a case to put this guy in jail because he obviously did it. Like once you get farther from that, I wonder how strong the appetite for it continues to be.
There was a great comment thread that I was reading through that was basically saying in the 1990s, when we would have these meetings with the military and the people who were thinking about cybersecurity, they basically said to the private sector, you need to do a better job of figuring this stuff out so we don't fall behind our enemies.
Yeah.
And now we did a really good job, and law enforcement is saying, you did too good of a job. You have to like turn this around and like give us a way in.
Well, and I mean, the security problems in the federal government, like just within like not getting hacked by China, are like pretty severe. I feel like probably you could come up with a situation that made everyone unhappy where like, in fact, citizens have zero rights, and also the federal government has really good and secure tools. Like that world's probably possible. So I never want to like prosecute that case too aggressively. But
I just think, first of all, I think Apple's going to lose. Like, to be really clear, this is the thing.
Well, they're going to lose. They're going to lose in
this case.
But like on appeal or something.
Well, I mean, they've already lost, right? The judge told them to do it. They're going to appeal, and they're going to lose again. Like, they're just going to keep. I just don't see the United States justice system coming down in favor of don't crack this phone. And I also think I don't see the United States public saying, oh, you should definitely keep the phone protected. I think a lot of people, like, there's another million cases where you want Apple to be able to unlock a phone for you. Like, if a loved one dies and you don't know the passcode. Like, I think a lot of people have the reasonable expectation that Apple should be able to unlock that phone.
That's why you put that in your will, so that they know.
Right. No, there's a whole set of services that lawyers provide, like estate lawyers. There's a whole thing where it's like, you give me a USB key with all your passwords and some instructions, and then you die, and like I plug it in, I delete your Ashley Madison account. Like, this is a thing that people do.
You know what the greatest USB key of all time is?
The one that has my Ashley Madison account on it.
That is worth a lot to me as someone who works for you. What was the article? It was in Wired. The one where they were like, oh, this is the guy who invented Bitcoin. This guy's really Satoshi or whatever.
Yeah.
But there is like a small USB thumb drive that guy wore around his neck, which probably has $1 billion worth of Bitcoin on it.
Right.
Probably. that he just carried around with him all the time and took with
Wait,
him
which
to the grave.
Satoshi was this?
The
This
most
is the
recent
recent
Australian
one.
one,
Okay, yeah,
and then
yeah.
there was like an American guy who he worked with.
I feel like I wouldn't.
I
You
feel
can
like-
snatch necklaces, right? Chain snatching is like a thing.
That's why he never took it off, and he worked, and that's why.
Do you know that
exactly.
Russell? I don't know if you guys have seen this happen.
chain snatching.
But there's like we've just quietly started a video series with Russell where he reenacts crimes.
No.
Yeah. So like
Those
the
are-
first video is up. It's called like the
Nilay has to say that I'm reenacting them for legal reasons,
Yeah.
but I'm
what's
committing
it?
crimes.
It's the evil maid attack.
Oh yeah.
We like shot a video where like Russell,
I was the victim.
Ben was the victim, and it's like this is how an evil maid would like rob your computer.
What does this have to do with The Verge?
I mean,
It sounds like a hobby.
it's Russell doing computer crimes. Computer crimes are super
computer
vergy.
crimes.
Yeah, it's
I
not-
was thinking chain snatching on
They're
the subway.
still-
Well, the
Computer
last,
crimes are
the
still
last
cool,
episode
though.
is like it's like how to get rid of a body.
Yeah. In that same comment thread about the one that was like, well, the military told us to make encryption so strong, and now law
Yeah,
enforcement's
yeah.
all in our case. They had this awesome like Ocean's 11 type thing about how you would get past the secure element, and like when they make it, they blow the fuses at the factory, but you could resolder those and flash them. And it's just like I'm thinking like Ocean's 11, like go
Yeah.
into the phone and you're like trying to do all this crazy hardware stuff.
Every time they talk about breaking this phone, I imagine a large room with a huge machine at the center with like a glass window with a lightning cable coming out of it, and that's the one machine that can crack a phone. And it's like
That's what they want, though. That's
Right.
what's so weird.
right, that is actually what they're talking about. And like there's like a team of like Russian hackers and Chinese hackers are like
Right.
breaking in through the vents and crawling through the ducts, and they're trying to get in the room and like plug in the one phone.
It's
It's
actually like Johnny Ive's DNA. You have to take like a cheek sample and then decode
Yeah,
that. That's
the
Apple's
the
key.
This
code
is
word
the
is
problem
aluminium.
is
you, have to walk up to the thing and say aluminium, and then like the glass door opens, steam begins rising.
This is what I worry is that like there are a lot of movies where security gets broken. Like they break in and they like get away with the thing.
Yeah.
In Mission Impossible, and like everyone loves a good heist.
Yeah.
There's none of them where they're like, nope, we couldn't do it. We couldn't get into that vault.
Yeah.
It was just, that guy was responsible and he thought of the important things and he followed best practices. So yeah, there's nothing we can do. We have
Sorry,
to,
boss. It
we have
was
to
two-factor.
leave our lives of crime. Yeah.
Nicola, do you think they should break the phone?
Oh man.
Gut instinct. Do you think they should break the phone? Just say. It doesn't matter what you say. Just say what.
I
Say,
don't wanna, like-
what's in your heart.
I really don't. I don't want to go on. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
You
want
think
to.
they should break
no,
the
you
phone?
have to
Most people think they
maintain
should break
objectivity.
the phone.
Well, okay,
Like,
wait.
Becky's aunts were like emailing her yesterday. Like, do they think does Nilay think they should break the phone because
I
they're,
would
like,
say generally Verge
regular-
employees' parents, like the older generation. I've heard a number of stories where people are like,
just break
I'm
the
not
phone.
just break the phone.
1/3 of the time you say Becky, I think of Office Becky.
Yeah. Becky's aunts,
Becky.
our office manager's extended family,
Yeah,
is routinely emailing me
I mean-
about Encryption, man.
That's why I was like,
But okay, let me just point out before we leave this entirely, just my counterpoint.
Down the wrong pipe?
No, I thought about Office Becky's aunts.
Eli's choking on white wine right now.
Gosh,
It was really funny for 1 second.
It's 5:06
Because they're also
PM.
from Wisconsin.
Yeah. So
We
you
could all
could
just
know
mix
each
it
other.
together.
Me too. We could all be in
Yeah.
the mix.
Oh, that was really bad.
but okay, so the counterpoint, and this is a point that like it's very difficult to say absolutely for sure.
Yeah.
But it's pretty clear. There's nothing on the phone. Like they're not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
find anything.
Oh, yeah, he burned all the other phones.
Yeah, so he burned these other phones. This was his work phone, which like is legally convenient, but it also means like if he needs to make contact with like the ISIS like puppet master who doesn't exist, he's probably not gonna call from the work phone. He had opportunities to burn it when he burned the other phones. It was backing up to iCloud until like a couple weeks before the event. So like all the stuff that was backed up on iCloud, they have because it's on the servers and they just give them a warrant and then Apple hands it over. So like there's really nothing on the phone.
Oh, you should write that story.
But I can't prove that. I don't know. Maybe
But
they
Apple
find out.
routinely hands things over from iCloud because of the third-party doctrine.
Yeah, totally. No, all of our stuff this was one of the 5 big lies of the encryption debate.
You should write this story. I'm going to tell the audience what the story is. None of you out there write this story because Russell's going to write it first. The third-party doctrine is
Oh my God, he's getting into legal.
I'm going to do it. The third-party doctrine is this weird exception to the Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure,
Smith v. Maryland. Yeah.
where if you send your data to a third party, you no longer have any reasonable expectation of privacy in that data, and the government can come and search it. So all of your iCloud is stored in a third party. Obviously, it's Apple. So the government can they don't even have to talk to you. They just issue a warrant to Apple. And the law says you have no reasonable expectation of privacy in what you sent to iCloud. So Apple can just hand it over. It's the same with Google. It's the same with Dropbox. Same with Microsoft. Like, just down the line, anything that you transmit to a third party is no longer within the scope of your Fourth Amendment protections.
So whatever they want on this phone is only something that's stored locally on the phone. Nothing. The cloud is already wide open.
I don't think they want anything on this phone. This is Russell's point. They just just have a terrorist with an iPhone that Apple can definitely break, and they want to prove that the law gives them the power to break the phone. And
But yeah, so this whole argument from the beginning is just like stuff that's on your iPhone and nowhere else, right? Which, again, if you want to know who he called, who he texted, talk to Verizon.
Right.
Like,
this would only be notes that he kept for himself.
The only thing they can't get is his iMessages, because those are encrypted end to end.
Yeah.
So presumably, if he's like ISIS
Seems
forever
like
in his
dumb,
iMessage.
Yeah, seems like a dumb terrorist move to be like iMessaging about
On
plans.
your work phone.
Let me just shoot off some iMessages about the big plans.
Yeah, hang on, Teresa. I'll send you that spreadsheet in a minute. Gotta send these ISIS text messages.
What?
I don't know. I just if you worked in a government office in sort of San Bernardino, wouldn't you expect everyone around you is like, let me get the spreadsheets? No, that's just what I've never had a real job. Let's be clear. All right, is there anything else to say about this? You think they should break the phone?
I mean, I feel like I don't know if I have enough information to really say that.
Yeah.
But so I wouldn't put my.
I think most people believe in their hearts, not in this case that Apple should break the phone, that if they forget their passcode or somebody passes away and they get that phone, that they should be able to walk in an Apple store and prove that their significant other died, whatever bad thing happened. I forgot. It's my phone. I can prove it. Here's a receipt. And Apple should unlock that phone for them.
here's the other question that's kind of interesting. And I think like we have very skewed views of this. But like in all seriousness, do people in general who don't read tech blogs like Apple?
Yeah.
Like that's well, and like how much? Like is it like a 8 or a 9 or like what? Because that's the question. People don't like the FBI historically.
No, they do. I think regular people are like, yeah, they're the cool ones. People hate cops. They don't.
Yeah.
They. I think like the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, they're like, ooh.
Maybe that's
Those
right.
are the guys with the cooler cars.
But like, I do think. I mean, now this isn't going to be.
They drive all black Crown Victorias,
and they have sunglasses.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, I don't know. The thing is, it'll be decided by a judge who will probably not have somewhat different opinions in this. But I think there is. I can imagine a world in which people are like tired of terrorism being exploited for political gain, which has kind of like we're sort of at the point where we can acknowledge that that's happened.
Have you been watching this election? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean, but Donald Trump's out there,
I think
talking
that
about
Becky's aunts or Becky's aunts, either set of Becky's aunts, are
Don't make me choke again.
unlikely to make their smartphone purchasing decisions based on this case, no matter which way it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, like we have people who are very principled about it because it's a terrorist, but I don't think like 6 months from now they're gonna be like, I'm getting an Android. Like, screw Apple.
Yeah.
They didn't do what I thought they should do.
People listening to this show, though.
Will.
Yeah, no matter what we say, it doesn't matter.
Right. They have strong opinions.
You know, it's sad because Windows Phone is the most secure operating system involved.
because nobody used it.
Yeah, it's never been cracked because no one cared. All right, let's move on to the
Speaking
next
of
thing.
Windows,
Speaking of Windows.
I did a story this week.
Yeah, I did.
It was all about Chromebooks, which you recently purchased for your family.
I'm deep in the Chromebook game.
Right.
I'm a believer, and it's funny. I have a lot of, but you keep going. I have a lot of thoughts.
So it was just about how lots and lots of schools have lots of hardware that is basically turned into cruft. They stopped using it. You have to imagine these Windows laptops that get passed around a school where 20 different people use it, and within 6 months it's so full of viruses and adware that like it takes 15 minutes to boot up. So they would like abandon these, and then somebody came in and said, look, you could just convert that into a Chromebook. Not technically one, because that's a trademark, but a machine that runs Chrome. And all of a sudden, it boots up in a minute or 30 seconds, and it's easy to pass around. Like anybody can log into it and suddenly like they're in, it's their account. So it was a little bit about this startup in New York, Neverwhere, that lets schools convert them. And then it was also largely about the fact that like in 2012, I think Google had less than 1% of the market in terms of new devices sold. And now they outsell Microsoft and Apple together. They outsell every other. 51% of all new devices bought in education are Chromebooks.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. So yeah, just, the cloud computing revolution at work. And the question I think that remains is like, how much stuff is there really left that like requires a computer that isn't just a netbook? Like, are we going to get to a point where 75% of devices, 90% of devices bought? And as a company, we're kind of already at that point, right?
Yeah.
Like, at least me as a reporter, not our video editors, but I could come in every day and work on a Chromebook. And
I left my laptop at home one day, and Dieter gave me a Chromebook, and
He
I
gave you
did
a
my
Pixel.
whole job.
Yeah.
I did my whole job.
I have an old MacBook. But part of your job is like going out in the world and like doing things.
Yeah, but also I am like not. There are people on my team who save things to their real computer, and I'm like, why do you save things to your computer? We have Google Docs.
Yeah.
So the
And
question,
Dropbox and like all this stuff. Why are you sending me a file? Why isn't it in Dropbox?
Yeah.
There are hurdles.
There are real
It's
hurdles.
not the Verge.
You got to drag people with you.
Yeah.
You got to bring them along.
We're talking about a new edit calendar system, and it is gonna be.
Really? Mm-hmm. No, I'm very interested. I mean, is it Trello? Is it Trello with dates?
It's just Google Calendar.
Oh, it's just
wow.
It's moving from a text document to a calendar, and it will not be seamless.
It will not. Don't use Google Calendar for that.
What should we do?
Use Trello with dates on the cards.
We've tried Trello, and
Yeah, do it. Trello, the only company that matters. We don't have ads on the show today, so
kindness.
just toss one out.
Kindness, an ad for kindness.
If Fog Creek Software wants to throw me a couple bucks, Trello, just fucking use it, okay?
Venmo has $10 and will shell anything you want.
Anything you
They
want.
don't want to be associated now that you've sided with the government.
I know. Trello, you should break your encryption. Everyone should see the Racked editorial calendar now in Trello.
I was talking to, but you were talking about the calendar, right? I was talking to our stalwart Microsoft reporter, Tom Warren, and I was talking about this story because, like, what's Microsoft doing to try and not like lose? This is like a serious existential threat to them, right?
Yeah.
Like, you lose all the K-12 schools, and then all of a sudden, like, most of the businesses are like, well, we wouldn't mind spending 70% less on our IT. That sounds pretty okay. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh well, kids will use Chromebooks in the beginning, but then they get to high school and they have to do spreadsheets. And then they'll really need a Windows machine. And I thought, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's your example of some like really high powered, activity that requires like a serious Windows machine with like a solid state drive and all this. It's like spreadsheets. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's all you get.
Well, I also wonder, I mean, it's funny because I always look at like adware as like a story and sort of think about it. And like, what does it mean that there's all this crap out there that just piles up on machines?
Right.
Yeah.
And it really is sort of Windows as an ecosystem has just been out there for long enough and fragmented in such a way that it's hard to really keep that stuff from proliferating. And it gets to a point where it's a problem for Microsoft as a company now because they can just switch to Chromebooks, and Chromebooks, it's like a shiny new operating system that's got like, is a little bit immune to
I
these
think
things.
there's actually a huge, crazy market here. Just go with me on this. For sick old computers running this Neverware version. It's just called Cloud Ready, right?
Oh yeah.
It's a Neverware. So like, I might buy a titanium PowerBook and put. Oh wait, I can't because that's PowerPC.
This is like those old cars.
Do they run on PowerPC or just Intel processors?
No, they run on many different kinds of.
But
very common
I'm
old.
betting they don't run on PowerPC chips.
I'll have to find out. But
If they make a version of Cloud Ready that runs on the PowerPC G4 and I can put that shit on a titanium PowerBook, remember that thing?
yeah, this
The
is going to be the
sickest
fastest
laptop
Chromebook
ever
of all
made.
time.
No, well, because that thing was ancient. That thing came out in like 2001.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but like that
Even a
was.
10-year-old computer has crazy hardware.
I
compared to a new
challenge the
Chromebook.
audience. Tell me what is the sickest old laptop you can put this. You can put Chrome OS on.
This is like the
And
Fast and Furious garage
and I'm
of
telling you,
computers
yes,
where you're
it's
like,
just
yeah,
weird.
I've had this Chromebook
What's the
since
sickest?
72.
What's the coolest laptop you can think of?
The one I have.
I mean, that thing is like the MacBook Air. Where's your Matrix? It's like, where's the one that's like, where's the section labeled like obvious?
Drab and practical.
Is that, no,
Yeah.
drab and practical. So the MacBook Air is drab practical now.
Yeah.
It's like
I think
over.
it's elegant, practical.
Nah, it's just like everyone has one.
Yeah, but it's still elegant. It still looks, it's clean.
Can you
it's
be
nice.
elegant if everybody has it?
So, but Nilay,
It's not about being exclusive, Nilay.
I think elegance implies a level of exclusivity.
No.
No? Okay. Well, then you and I disagree on it.
It's fine.
On our completely subjective
I'm
definitions of
I'm
elegant.
in the comments on the YouTube live thing, and believe me, there are a lot of follow-up questions about the Matrix. And I had to tell Jared to chill, but like, it's good.
Whoa. Yeah, you dropped some F-bombs on the Twitter when people were sending you the gaming mice. By the way, thank you to the audience for immediately tweeting gaming mice.
I liked the people who sent me pictures of mice on
actual mice.
Gaming controllers. That was the best. Like cute animals. Done.
That's pretty good. I gotta say, so what's the sickest laptop you would put? Because this is a
God.
whole thing, right? If you are the
Yeah.
sort of, just think about this. I want everybody to clear their mind. You're the sort of person who can get your life accomplished inside of Chrome OS. Suddenly you are free from the boundaries of time and space when it comes to computing hardware.
Yeah.
You no longer need the newest one. You can just literally pick the one that looks the dopest. And I'm saying, to me, that is a titanium PowerBook. Like, if I just rolled into a meeting with that thing, people are like, what is that? I'd be like, this is the sickest laptop ever made. And I'm using it right now.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, let me send you this spreadsheet.
And I'm like, oh, foiled by another high school student.
exactly.
Oh, why am I always talking to high school seniors?
So, but that's the crazy thing, is that there is like 10 years worth of laptops and all of this horsepower and hardware that is like thrown on the junk pile, which suddenly you could resurrect and people could use. And when this guy in Ovid, LC, Michigan, an hour outside of Flint, like the middle of nowhere, saw the school doing that, he literally opened up a store now where he sells he takes junk laptops that people pay him to take because you have to pay to recycle them because they're full of lead, turns them into Chromebooks, and then sells them to people. He has like a Chromebook store
This is
made of
amazing.
nothing but recycled computers.
Can we go to this store?
I have pitched it as a follow-up.
The Chromebooks, and it's just dope old laptops.
It's just dope old laptops.
Yes. Laptops are back.
Right. It's like a 1950s car that has an engine that's too big.
This is like the Mad Max cars. It's like society has ended.
Yeah.
All we have is this Corvette on tank treads.
Yeah, it's the last
and it
of the
looks
V8
incredibly
Interceptors.
junky. But like there's this guy sort of playing guitar on the back of it, and I like it.
It's Chrome OS.
It's
guitar
Chrome
is Chrome OS. No, this is awesome. I'm going to do this, and this is like my weekend, nerd project.
Yeah, we're gonna do like an explainer video how to do it. So wait.
Oh my God! Someone sent me a picture of the Dell. Literally, I remember when we reviewed the Dell. I think we reviewed it at Engadget. Like, Josh's last line was, "Dell should really consider why it decided to make this product." It's like it has no reason that this should exist.
We have like 10 minutes left. I want to talk about drones because I know you had a blast using one.
I did.
I encouraged you to take it, and it seems like you went above and beyond everything I dreamed you would do with it.
I love drones.
Yes.
They're the coolest. So I took the Phantom 3 Professional out of our review closet, so I have to give it back.
Yes.
I got fairly good at flying it. You know when you learn how to do something, but it is outside the boundaries of other people teaching you, you just develop what you believe are the right ways to do something.
Right.
Does this make any sense?
You got better. You don't know.
That's
if you
how I
were
am with Rocket
working
League.
with best practices, but you were doing it. You're self-taught.
I was like, here are the best practices. So I have all these ideas about how the drone should fly. None of them, I'm assuming, are right. But I was so afraid to fly it at the beginning. I was terrified that Becky, the one I'm married to, not the one who works in this office, she was leaving for the day on a Saturday, and she's like, "What are you gonna do?" And I was like, "I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna fly the hell out of that drone." And then she came back, and I was still in the kitchen watching YouTube videos about how to fly the drone. Because I was like, I'm gonna kill someone. Basically, it's flying death.
But here's the thing about the drone. You went from being really afraid to fly it to feeling you're getting pretty good to doing something really stupid where you attached a lot of extra hardware and
I was
used it at a wedding.
to it and flew it into a wedding.
Yeah, the most dangerous thing possible.
Yeah, it's funny. Once you... No, the CR48 Chromebook is not the dopest laptop ever made. It looks amazing. Sorry, I'm supposed to be me. It looks amazing, the CR48, but it is the slowest piece of junk ever.
Well, that's because
does
it wasn't
look-
running Chrome.
It was running Chrome OS.
Oh,
It was the first
okay.
Chrome OS device. But it looked amazing because it had no branding. It was just a totally matte black object. No branding, no divots, no nothing.
Love it. Sounds elegant as hell.
It was super exclusive. It's the thing that I'm saying about elegance. I think elegance implies like a slight level of like it's just one tick. It's just one tick above the mainstream. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like it's not a lot. It's more thoughtful than what everyone else has.
Mm-hmm.
That's like
It's a gloss. It's got a gloss to it.
Yeah, and the MacBook Air has not. The MacBook Air is literally
It's
what everyone
standard.
else has.
Standard issue.
Yeah, it was elegant when it came out, but now that elegance has been rubbed off by the fact that
Because it just
like
became
so,
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Which
it's
is
like
part of a larger thing we've been
It's like
talking
Eagles songs are
about.
really elegant, but you've heard them so many times that they sound kind of chintzy.
yeah, Eagles songs are elegant.
Yeah.
I think we just had the ultimate Ben Popper dad moment on the Vergecast.
I got so deaded out last night. I was watching this Eagles documentary, and I was like, I hate all of these songs, but yet right now, as a 32-year-old watching a documentary about the Eagles' rise to fame, I find myself loving them.
I had this moment. So let me tell you 3 stories about the Eagles.
Okay.
That's my new podcast. It's
Okay.
3 stories about the Eagles, Nilay Patel. And I just bring in guests and we just talk about the Eagles. At CES, I was sitting in, I believe it was the Volvo booth. It was like crazy, like $100,000 Volvo SUV for like the soccer mom with a side hustle, right?
Yeah.
Like, she's a soccer. Like,
She has
it's
a
like
super
weeds.
successful
Weeds, yeah,
blog.
no,
It's like
she
basically
drove
weeds,
a-
right?
Didn't she? Or no, I don't remember.
No, she drove a crap car for a long time. Anyway, but it's basically like if you're the mom in weeds, like you're doing all right,
Right.
but you also sell all of the weed in your local community. So it's like this car. It has a screen that like comes up out of the thing, and I push the button, and the screen comes up, and it's just a DVD of the Eagles live playing Hotel California, and it was like sounded beautiful, like beautiful sound system in this car. 400 speakers. Subwoofers everywhere. Your kids are wearing their own wireless headphones, listening to their own shit in the back seat. Right. But you're just captivated driving down the street, watching the Eagles
Soaring.
and it's like you can check out, but you can never leave. And I was like, this is the ultimate CES moment. That's what's happening now. Second Eagles story, another Hotel California story.
Okay.
I
I love how you had 3 queued up.
That's right. Hotel California has been a real theme with me lately. We were in the Dominican Republic for Dieter's wedding. We're like in the pool. Great, the big resort. And the staff is there. And they're like, we can play some pool games. Everybody get ready. Clap, 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 clap. Right? And we're like, no, we're not doing that. Old biddies in the pool love playing pool games with the staff. So they're all like getting over there. And I didn't realize this. Look, we're drinking all day. They started Hotel California, but then they looped it in Serato. So I listened to the first 4 or 8 bars of Hotel California for easily 10 minutes before I was like, and I was drinking all day. So I kept on being like, dun dun dun. It didn't happen. Like over and over and over again.
Right.
Anyway, I don't have a third Hotel California. I mean, I do, but
I think it's been enough.
I think the third one is like one time I listened to it and I thought it was rad. Like that's basically. Do you have a Hotel California story?
No.
I defy you to watch. Go and watch this documentary on Netflix.
Where does Hotel California go on the hype matrix?
I feel like that's ostentatious drag.
You think so?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm like playing it in my head.
Sorry
for myself.
to Don Henley.
Where does Don Henley go in the hype matrix?
I don't know who that is.
Is there? Oh my god. He's
Well,
like
you know Glenn Fry, obviously.
No.
Oh my god.
Wow. It is ostentatious. That's why I loved it. Like if I defy you to go watch this Netflix documentary, see them in studio working on Witchy Woman and not laugh at them, but also with joy. Like
Yeah.
it's just so 70s. Everything about it is like, these guys are the cheesiest, but they didn't know it. And so it's pure.
'Cause they invented
didn't
it.
know. Because they invented it. Right.
Right.
Exactly.
It's like Slash.
Right.
Slash from Guns N' Roses. Everything he did is now like a cartoon. Right. What was that band that played during the Grammys that Johnny Depp was in? Vampire Hotel. What the hell is it called?
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Zombie. Like that's
yeah.
a terrible name. And it's like that's like a pastiche of like 80s glam
Yeah,
rock bands. But when Slash was doing it, he was inventing that shit.
Right.
He was like, what if
Ooh.
I grow my hair long and just constantly do heroin and like hammer-ons? And that's my shtick. And everyone's like, brand new idea.
And then it becomes a joke. Like,
What if I wear no shirt, leather pants, and this belt of circles? Yeah, I'm Slash, everybody. I did it.
I feel like that's what Kanye's going to be. Like,
Yeah.
he's going to do all this whack shit, and then it's going to create some culture, and then it's going to become a joke.
he's going to curate some culture.
I think he might have
Great.
jumped the shark already.
I don't think so.
I was worried that after Yeezus, I was like, maybe we're into late Kanye now. But I think actually we're still in the prime Kanye era.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, I think like Life of Pablo, like not maybe like absolutely his best, but like I was like, okay, we're not in late Kanye yet.
I haven't listened to it yet. Should I listen
Oh,
to
it's
it?
awesome. Yeah.
I don't have Tidal. Which
I
is a
did the
requirement.
3-month
Micah
trial
can hook
just
you
for
up.
it.
Okay, first you just mumbled that Micah can pirate this album for me, which is useful and wonderful information. You
I
signed
signed
up
up
for
for
Tidal.
the Tidal
What do you think of Tidal?
3-month thing. Well, all I did was listen to that
Years.
once.
This is like the era that we live in, where you sign up for a streaming music service once for every exclusive, and then you have like 17.
Well, I went on Hot
trials
New
running
Hip
at
Hop. I
once.
went on SoundCloud. Couldn't find it. My friend sent me the zip thing to whatever. And I couldn't figure it out. And I had to go. I had to be somewhere. So I like signed. I was like, all right, Tidal, let's do that. I had like 3 minutes. I was like, let me see if I can do this in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Signed up with the PayPal. Set the calendar alert so I can cancel that. And done. And I listened to it.
What did you think?
I don't love it.
Yeah.
It's a fucking mess. I also had heard it. I went to the album. Well, so I heard Wolves a year ago at the Passion Show. I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? Obviously heard No More Parties. And what else did he just put
30
out?
hours. 30 hours was like on SoundCloud like the day before,
Ultra
but it was a
Beam
little
on
less.
SNL.
No.
But
But
everyone keeps sending me the IBM ThinkPad Butterfly keyboard laptop. Yo. I'm just saying, get ready. That thing's in a MoMA.
really?
Yeah, IBM made this ThinkPad just like in the 90s. There's a butterfly keyboard where it's really small, and when you open the lid, the keyboard raised up and butterflied out, so it became a full-size keyboard deck. I mean, it is literally one of the coolest things ever made. And it's in
It's
the
the
MoMA.
Eagles
Sounds
of
great.
laptops.
Guys.
What? You like the Eagles? It's fine.
I don't like the Eagles. I'm saying I have a number of stories about the Eagles to tell.
It's all right. It's all
Kanye's
right.
ostentatious, elegant.
Yeah,
Really?
I think so. I mean, he's maybe closer to the center axis.
Did you play the Kylie Kendall game?
No, but I stood over Caitlin Tiffany's shoulder while she played it, and she showed me that Kylie keeps putting on her lipstick. And then I showed her 2 photos. Well, whatever. That's a whole other story.
Oh, really? I can die on the hill of the Eagles. You won't finish
You
your
want me to go
Kylie
for-
Jenner story?
Okay, so Kylie and I spent three days last week together. The first was Monday, and it was the Kylie and Kendall collection launch.
Yeah.
And we stood very close to each other and have many pictures.
What does she smell like?
You know what? You're not the first person to ask me that.
Well, that's the thing. I know what she looks like.
Well, the number one thing I noticed is that we have the same nervous tick where we run our nails under our nails.
Okay.
Like she wasn't wearing big nails. She had like little regular dark
Yeah.
black painted nails. And she was like running her, when she was giving interviews, like there's like a whole lineup of press interviews, and she was like running her fingernails under them. And I was like, oh, I do that too. You're so nervous.
Yeah.
Your life's horrible. So I had all these pictures of her. And then 2 days later, I saw her at the V-Files show, and she was wearing a see-through lace jumpsuit, but her butt was so much bigger than it had been on Monday. But it was a see-through lace jumpsuit. So it was like, if there's padding or whatever is going on there, it's see-through. So like, I'm just perplexed. So I spent a while looking at the photos I took and the new photos.
This is actually, that was really helpful because I came into the kitchen and heard that discussion.
Yeah.
But I didn't know who you were talking about. I thought it was somebody at work. So I was trying to figure it
And
out.
then she showed up on Wednesday in a see-through lace jumpsuit, and
Oh
I
my
swear
God.
her butt was so triggered. And then I saw her again at Kanye's thing on Thursday, the next
Oh,
day.
how was the Kanye thing? Give us the 2-minute rundown.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was weird. This Madison Square Garden was not full. The layout was strange. I was like I was in section 105. The Kardashians were in section 106. Like we were right next to each other. It was all very mellow and like low key. He played the album. He didn't like perform it. He just played it like listening.
What did he
Party
do while he
style.
was listening?
He played it from his laptop, and like he would get an email and you would hear the notification. It was super weird.
Although there's also a phone notification sound in one of the songs, which people are not.
No,
happy
that's
about.
in the Rihanna. There's a Rihanna song, the iMessage sound.
No. In 30 hours at the end, he's just like, there's like, and then she called my phone, and like just in a weird ad lib part at the end, and the like marimba iPhone ring goes off.
Best ring though. Best of the default rings.
The weird thing about that show is like he
It's so happy.
He forced the models to suffer. They had to stand on stage. They couldn't dance. They couldn't smile. They couldn't sit down. And he was jamming out to the music.
Oh, so he was dancing.
And they were like just suffering on stage. And it was like, why are you making them do that? Like, let's all have fun at your album release party.
But like they're models. I mean, they got paid.
They looked very unhappy.
Alexa, play Hotel California on Spotify.
and we're out.
I'm just putting that down.
You
It's the thing I
can't
like
play.
doing.
You can't play Life of Pablo on Spotify, so don't even ask her.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Spotify on Alexa has changed my life.
It's
Really?
good, right?
So
Tell
good.
me about it because I'm really close to buying the thing.
You got, dude, get in
Should
there.
I just do it?
Just do it.
I loved Alexa
You're
before
gonna like it.
because I didn't know what was gonna come on, and I would just be like, Alexa, play X artist, and it would be random whatever
Yeah.
Amazon has.
Then
Now
Amazon has nothing.
and they have nothing, and so then you would find these weird songs. You'd be like, off period, wrong decade. Oh, I didn't know about this. Marvin
this
Gaye
isn't my
album.
favorite Eagles jam.
But I've never heard it before, so it sounds good. I like to hear things for the
Oh,
first
this is
time.
so elegant.
Yeah.
Oh, this
exactly.
Glenn Fry guitar noodling is so. He was a guitar player, no?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love a good guitar noodle.
Glenn Fry was the guitar player. Then they had another one, and they felt they needed two more.
We've talked about the Eagles too much.
Okay.
I'm putting it down. Like we're like one step away from talking about Rush.
So the Flying Burrito Brothers
Oh my God.
before
We're
the
done.
Eagles.
We're so
and then-
done. We're so done.
Yeah, I
Anything
mean,
else?
Alexa is the bomb. I would recommend getting her. I love her as a music experience. I love being able to just shout out. I'm like wrestling with my kids on the floor, and then I'm like, hey, play this. And it just happens.
I've been calling Ubers with it because that is the single most decadent thing you can possibly do in your life.
And
Alexa,
and
ask Uber
practical.
for a ride.
That's ostentatious elegant for sure.
Yeah, it is the best. And then she's like, "There's an Uber, away." And then when you're like, and she's like, "Would you like me to call it for you?" You say yes, and then it makes a spaceship sound until the Uber's coming.
What does
It's
that
like-
sound like?
It's like, ooh. it's like crazy. It's like, are you
For
gonna
like
take
5
off?
minutes?
No, it's like a couple seconds. It's not a long time.
Oh, while
right?
it's pinging it.
Well, until an
Oh,
Uber
while it's
driver
thinking.
until an Uber driver says yes.
I thought you meant right the whole time it was coming. It just keeps going like,
No, but it's like sometimes, it's like this is all the spaceship stuff that I want in my house. Like
Right.
I just asked I asked a robot to bring me a car, and it made a spaceship sound, and then it said,
It's all happening.
and it
It's
said
all
your car
fucking
is
happening.
arriving, and I was like, I love you.
right. And then you say, play the life of Pablo, get in the car, and it's already playing.
Yeah, you could do
Well,
that.
you can have the Spotify
Oh my
on the
God.
car.
That is elegant.
Nicola, someone's sending you pictures of trackballs. What trackballs? What do they fall on your page?
Dude, I
All
don't.
right, I think we know the answer to that. You need a secondary like matrix of crappy things.
Is this the GIF of the butterfly keyboard that I'm getting here?
Yes, look at that
Nice.
thing.
That's pretty gorgeous.
That is a triumph of hardware engineering.
Okay, well, we got our answer then.
All right.
This
well,
is the Chromebook you need.
This is the Chromebook. Can we get one of those and try to put Chrome OS on it and see if it's fast and awesome?
Sure.
And then that will be my main computer.
We have to get an old computer to make this video, so let's get this
What?
one.
Everybody, okay, here's what I want you to do. Everybody listen to me. Of the three of you in this room and the hundreds of thousands of people in their cars.
Millions.
Millions of nerds. Angry nerds who are mad that we talked about. Was it Kylie or Kendall's butt?
Yo,
What?
it's Kylie's.
Kylie's butt.
You read no news? Come on. No. Oh my God. Okay.
You said you saw them both.
I know, but whose butt has been a topic of conversation since summer?
I have no idea. Yeah. I
Oh
was
my
stumped.
God.
Let me ask you.
This is like
me
my
ask
version
you-
of you being like, which laptop? And I'm like, I only know one laptop.
We were chill when
What?
you didn't know that you know members of the Eagles. You know? We were totally fine with it.
What is the more difficult engineering challenge? Building a back door into the iPhone that keeps the operating system secure, or see-through lace jumpsuit that does not reveal the padding that makes the butt bigger?
It's a lot of engineering going on in both elements. Back
There's
doors
a real
happening.
real
I mean,
secure element joke right there. Real secure element joke just waiting for us. Anyway, that unfortunately is how the show will end.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
No, you have to do all the social stuff.
You got to do all the social stuff. So tweet at us, Nicola_Fumo on Twitter, Russell Brandom. I'm Reckless, Ben Popper. Just hit us up. Tell us what dope laptop, particularly me and Ben, tell us what dope laptop from the past we should put Cloud Ready on, because that is a project I am deeply interested in. We're on Snapchat. We're at Verge on Snapchat. We're at Verge on YouTube.
SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you're curious about any of the encryption issues, we just put up a What's Tech on encryption
Yes.
with me and Christopher Thomas Plant. That was actually recorded before the country started falling apart, but well, not that long ago. But anyway, a couple weeks ago, but it covers a lot of the same territory.
Yes, important. Listen to that. Emily and Liz have Vergecast. Walt and I have Control-Alt-Delete. Lauren Good has Too Embarrassed to Ask. Peter Kafka launched a new podcast yesterday at Code Media called Recode Media.
We do have a fleet.
We have a
of
fleet.
podcasts.
We're
and then
addicted to podcasts.
And then Kara Swisher has Recode Decode, which is the only podcast name that rhymes.
Okay,
So-
Russell, we got to get on this. We need a podcast.
Yeah.
Please don't do that to me.
No more casts.
Look, you can just listen to shit all day long. Okay, just go to
It's too
iTunes,
much.
find our stuff, give it all 5 stars, listen
too
to it
much.
nonstop, and then I don't know, find us on Facebook, hit the like button, hit the YouTubes, get down. Somebody, just for shits and giggles, everybody just tweet at Sam Sheffer. Just do that. Just do that right now. Okay,
Stop by the Mashable office. Say hi.
that's it. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next week.